What's up, guys? Tony here with Alternative Living Spaces, about to chop it up with my buddy Matt from ContainUR Pools. Let's go check it out. What's up, Matt?
What's up, Tony?
How's it going, man?
Doing great, man. Welcome.
Great to see you.
You as well.
Again.
How you guys been?
Good. Doing great, man.
Keeping busy?
Absolutely, man.
That's cool.
Glad to see you, man, and
excited
happy to do this.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys have been up to. All kinds of container pool stuff, huh?
That's it.
All
That's
right.
it, man.
All right, you guys want to go check it out?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Basically, what happens is when we get a container that comes in, so if you look behind us over there, we get high cube shipping containers that come in and we cut them in half horizontally.
Yep.
And that gets us 2 pools.
That's great, man. I love it. Are you guys using pretty much one-trip containers for everything?
We are.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, one-trip containers and all high cube, and then they stage over in this area. So once they arrive here and we cut them in half, this is where our welders will work at for the time being. They'll get them cut in half and do all the support beams. And then once we get to that point, it'll move to this tent right over here, and that's our paint booth.
Okay, that's awesome, man. How does it work? So you get a container, high cube container, you literally just cut it in half, huh?
Exactly.
Is that pretty hard to do?
It can be tricky. Yeah, it can be tricky. The real tricky part is getting it flipped. And so getting it after you cut it and getting it flipped right. And so that's the tricky part. But yeah. So.
Okay. And this is an example of one that was recently cut.
Exactly.
Reinforced. So after you cut it structurally wise, so this is pretty much like a reinforcement you're putting all the way around it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so I equate this to like a red Solo cup, how you have that brim going across it that gives it that support. So that's more or less what this is. And this is a 2x6 beam. We have another beam on the inside of here as well for support. And then we go in with this 1-inch flat bar beam on the side, and then have basically some gussets or some supports on the inside running up and down just for some structure.
And then just how this is structural, when you flip it over and use a top, is that also, you're good to go? You can make that a pool.
Absolutely.
Same process.
Yeah, same process, with the exception for we add some wood on the floor of it just to create the floor because it's exposed container.
Gotcha.
And then we go in and we add some support to the bottom of it as well by adding some 3/4 inch steel tubing just to make it a little bit more rigid on the bottom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we got the paint booth over here, and then I can walk around and just show you this one as well.
Cool. Yeah.
We keep the vents on the sides, but we remove all the hardware and then we strip the paint down prior to us painting it. So yeah, we go in and we sand it down pretty extensively.
I don't think I've seen this extensive of a prep job for a container paint job, which is cool. I mean, you guys are really probably trying to get a very high finish.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome. So you're literally like, looks like filling in holes, bondoing different things.
Yep.
And then when you said you're stripping the paint down,
more or less sanding the paint down.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Man, well, that's great.
Yeah, so our thought process behind that is when you have water with chemicals that's being splashed out, we want to make sure that this container is protected as best as it can from rust and all of that. So, I mean, it's a container, you're going to run into that down the road.
Yeah.
However, that's the reason why we paint. So we paint the outside and we paint the inside as well.
Okay.
And then this is actually a bottom half of the container, so it came with the floor already in it.
Nice.
And what we'll do is we'll coat that with a resin, just to add some waterproofing and just some protective layer to the wood.
Love what you guys are doing, dude. It's cool.
Absolutely.
What does it look like with the permitting process in general? Are some cities really relaxed? They consider this like an above ground spa? Or what have you guys noticed on that?
Yeah, I see it split kind of 50-50. So there's a lot of people that are saying if you're in the city, you're going to need to go through approvals and all of that from what we have seen. If you're in a neighborhood, you'll have to go through your HOA to get approvals, but no permitting with the exception for we had some jobs in Joshua Tree that needed to get permits.
Okay, yeah.
And it's very easy. So what we tell clients is just to get a soils report done on your lots.
Okay.
They don't have to do that if they don't want to, but that's what we would recommend.
Yeah.
And then they would go to an engineer, figure out exactly what they would need foundation-wise to set it on. And then they can take those plans that we would generate for them from our engineer and take that to the city or to the HOA and get whatever approvals that they need.
Great, yeah, it seems pretty simple, honestly. Because we do container homes, so I'm very familiar with that process. But I feel like this process just naturally is a lot easier because you're right, if you have an engineered foundation and you guys can say, hey, this thing has been engineered, it's structurally in good shape, there's very limited in terms of like electrical and plumbing, and it's all visible, it seems like, for the most part, right? You can
Exactly.
open up the doors, have it inspected,
Yeah.
and be in good shape. So
And the last thing that I was gonna point out to you, if y'all wanna walk around, we can walk around here to show you inside of one of our containers prior to it going into the paint booth.
okay.
And just so y'all can see, so what we do is we add some structural support to the fiberglass shell. So those are called saddles.
Okay.
It just gives the fiberglass an area to rest on.
Cool.
And protects against deflection and all of that. And then, like I mentioned before, this will be coated with resin. The walls will be painted and insulated.
Okay, that's awesome, man.